Hello, friends and family of the internet. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. Boy, do we have to talk. First, let's start with this. I wrote a book with a friend of mine, Growing Under a Poison Sky. Why'd you write the book, Sam? Because geoengineering is not to be played around with. Let me tell you something that just happened to me, and this was Christmas Eve. So, December 24th, 2025, we started having a thick fog roll in around December 20th. It was insane. I'm talking like you couldn't see 4 or 5 feet in front of your face. Well, I have cameras all over my yard. I live in the woods. I'm all over social media. I want to know what's in my yard, but I also have small livestock. My cameras were pointed in the direction of my portable movable chicken coop. I woke up December 24th, did a video, went outside to check my chickens. Four of them, three of them were already gone. Four was going. Something had gotten into my chicken coop. Funny thing, when we checked our cameras, you couldn't see anything. You couldn't see anything but this tremendous thick fog roll across that part of my property and obscure your sight. Then, when the fog moves away, the chickens are gone. And it's not just my chickens, it's my dogs. My dogs don't want to be in this stuff. When I open the door in the evening for the cat, we have a house cat that's also a yard cat, but she's a tremendous mouser. She's a calico. She doesn't want to go out in it. She'll go to the steps and she'll back up like, no, I'm good. Thank you. Let me show you how they're trying to hide this. And I'm tired of it. And then I'm going to show you something called force multiplier from the US Air Force that was written about 50 years ago, saying that they would literally own the weather at this point. So, strange fog in parts of US and Canada has an explanation. So, this is what they're saying. Multiple social media posts about a strange fog affecting parts of southeastern US and Canada spread online after dense fog advisories, right at the end of December. Users reported the fog looked strange compared with normal fog and a strange smell. It caused illness, difficulty breathing, and some users concluding the phenomenon was man made. All right. They're saying that your opinion, you getting sick, you noticing that your animals won't go out in it, your security cameras detecting movement in the fog, you finding your livestock unalived in the fog is misleading and it lacks credibility. Because it's just normal. Yeah, it doesn't matter that this user posted a video of a foggy street and said weird fogs in Toronto in the US. It smells weird. It doesn't matter. It smells weird. Some people agreed the fog smelled strange. It was hard to breathe, but that lacks evidence and it's misleading. That's what they said. The Canadian press could find no evidence the weather seen at the end of December in Canada was in any way artificial. Really? So, if the fog smells and you notice that it's hard to breathe, then it's just, it's stoves and other pollutants. It's obviously not man made. Well, I have this article right here. Okay. It says weather as a force multiplier, owning the weather in 2025, a research paper presented to Air Force 2025 in August of 1996. When you go up here to this little thing, which I did, I typed in fog. Do you guys want to know? Oh, wow. Look at this. Here it is fog. What page is fog on? Page 16. So let's scroll a bit, friends and family of the internet. Because I don't know about you, but I'm not an idiot, right? I'm a pretty stand up, normal person. I don't really like conspiracy theories. I like things to be factual. So let's look at page 16 since hold on, I'm going to get there. Sorry, I thought it was on page 16. I was looking over there, but it was obviously not. That's 14, 15. All right, so they're saying fog. Here it is fog. In general, successful fog dissipation requires some type of heating or seeding process. So if it's too foggy and the military wants the fog to dissipate, to disappear, they're going to have artificial heating. They're going to have to heat it up. Or they could seed, go up in their planes or now their drones and spray the sky. Which technique works best depends on the type of fog you encountered. In simplest terms, there are two basic types of fog: cold and warm. Cold fog occurs at temperatures below 32 degrees. The best known dispension technique for cold fog is to seed it from the air with agents that promote the growth of ice crystals. Now, when you've got warm fogs at temperatures above 32 degrees and accounts for 90% of the fog related problems encountering flights, the best way to get rid of it is heating, because a small temperature increase is usually sufficient to evaporate the fog. Since heating usually isn't practical, the next most effective technique is something called hygroscopic seeding. Now, hygroscopic seeding uses agents that absorb water vapor. This technique is most effective when accomplished from the air, but can also be accomplished from the ground. Decades of research show that fog is an effective application of weather modification technology with demonstrated savings of huge proportions for both military and civil aviation. Now, there are some emerging technologies which have important applications for fog dispersal. So, when the news, the fake media tells you and I that this is not man made, it doesn't matter that it tastes like metal. It doesn't matter that you're having difficulty breathing. It does not matter that it's leaving an oily sheen on your vehicle. That's a conspiracy. But this paper written in 1996 saying that we're going to own the weather in 2025 says right here all kinds of cool stuff, right? Not only can they, heat up the area to get rid of fog, they can spray, right? Different chemicals that absorb water out of the air. So does that mean that like technically they could make a drought by spraying the same crap in the air and drying the air out? I think so. Now they're talking about fog dispersal. Now, fog dispersal is like this shh. Like imagine Samantha's holding a fire extinguisher and she sets it off. That's what they're talking about, right? Now, unfortunately, this is proved impractical for most situations and would be difficult at best for contingency operations. However, the development of directed radiant energy technologies, let me repeat that for the people in the back of the bus. The development of directed radiant energy technologies such as microwaves and or lasers could provide new possibilities. Lab experiments have shown microwaves to be effective for the heat dissipation of fog. However, results also indicate that the energy levels required exceed the U.S. large power density exposure limit of 100 watts and would be very expensive. So, field experiments with lasers, right? So, I just wanted to show you guys this. It also says with regard to seeding techniques, improvements in the materials and delivery methods are not only plausible, but likely. Remember, written in 1996 with the goal of 2025. Smart materials. Now, this was in 1996. Are you telling me that the military already had nanotechnology? Why, yes, I am. Well, thank you for letting us know, government, because it says right here smart materials based on nanotechnology are currently being developed with gigaops computer capability at their core. They could adjust their size to optimal dimensions for a given fog seeding situation and even make adjustments throughout the process. They might also enhance their dispersal qualities by adjusting their buoyancy, by communicating with each other, and by steering themselves within the fog. Let me say that one more time. These little suckers can steer themselves within the fog. They will be able to provide immediate and continuous effectiveness feedback by integrating with a larger sensor network and can also change their temperature and their polarity to improve their seeding effects. As mentioned above, UAVs, unmanned air vehicles, or however you say it, could be used to deliver and distribute these smart materials. Recent Army research lab experiments have demonstrated the feasibility of generating fog. They used commercial equipment to generate thick fog in an area of 100 meters long. Further study has shown fogs to be effective at blocking much of the UV IR visible spectrum, effectively masking emitters of such radiation as IR weapons. This technology would enable a small military unit to avoid detection in the IR spectrum. Fog could be generated to quickly conceal the movement of tanks and infantry, or could conceal military operations, facilities, or equipment. Now, I don't mean to be negative Nelly here, but in Utah right now, they're building homeless shelters. When this first came out about a year ago, I did a video probably 6, 7 months ago about the new homeless rules that Trump was signing. And I was like, yay, he's going to make our cities beautiful. Now I'm like, are you crazy, Samantha? When did it become a crime to be homeless or to live in your vehicle? Yeah, well, Utah's picking up people on the streets and they're going to put them in concentration camps. So well done. Now, this was 2024, so I'm going to skip over this, but this was December 2025. The fog is a result of the shelf cloud that quite possibly could be geoengineered. Also, I'll link an interesting post about this. Do you see the lines, friends and family, over here? Mm-hmm. You see these lines? Yeah, I'm just saying. You see the lines? Yeah, those aren't supposed to be there. Those are not natural. Okay, let me get it. All right. So, December 8th. Who else is experiencing this? People are reporting weird fog again, and they're trying to make us sick. Ready for a sunless cold winter when our immune systems will be struggling? California has a 400-mile stretch of fog affecting 13 million people. 13 million
13 million
people.
people are under travel warnings, with officials issuing air quality alerts as the dense low-lying fog can prove hazardous. The report then states, quote, breathing in these particles that remain suspended in the radiation fog can cause health issues. No, not can, not could, not may, or might cause health issues. The toxic fog does cause health issues. The particle pollution it contains isn't just auto exhaust and industrial pollution. It's climate engineering fallout nanoparticles, a plethora of toxic heavy metals and polymers. How many remember the extreme fog warnings in the U.S. last year? 24 states at once? 24 once? Now it's California in the crosshairs. From mysterious.
Again, please pick up our book, Growing Under a Poison Sky. I'll help you get it out of your soil, your water, and your body. All right. Because let me tell you something. They know that we can't fight off this crap because the food we eat has no nutrition in it. This is what I do. I grow food in a no-till, organic, natural way. All right. And what I've learned is people have to use so many pesticides because their plants are weak, and weak plants put off a frequency that insects follow so that they can find the plant and attack it. Friends and family, this is not a joke. Weather wars for sure. I'm sick of always being in some experiment. This is not normal. Supposedly a dense fog, prediction for it 16 hours ago.
Well, to the normal eye, okay, whatever this is, they're trying to say is a dense fog in our area. But these particles I am seeing are longer than rain. Why are they so stringy?
Because they're made out of polymer, because they're connected to a central computer for the US military, because they're picking up data and sending it back. Your pets are breathing this. It's finding its way into your water systems. Again, get my book. I'll do the best I can to help you protect yourself. Friends and family, this is not a joke. Man, if you haven't woken up to the truth and don't think they won't do it, can I say Operation Popeye? How about MK Ultra? How about Operation Mockingbird? How about Operation Sea Spray? I mean, I could just go on and on and on.
It does not seem like you're, but the strange fog is back, and it does not seem like your typical fog. In fact, a private lab recently tested the fog and found that it was loaded with Serratia marcescens, a type of bacteria. Coincidence? Maybe. Except in the 1950s, the Navy conducted biological warfare experiments off the coast of San Francisco where they released, can you guess it? Serratia marcescens and other bacteria into the air to see how it spread in populated areas. A lawyer released arming documents obtained under the Freedom of Information Act describing a 1950 test in which a bacteria cloud sprayed from a ship off the Golden Gate wafted inland to cover the entire Bay Area. And what are the side effects of exposure to this bacteria? Respiratory infections, which were suspiciously common after being exposed to the fog, pneumonia, gastrointestinal issues, just to name a few. And you think experiments on citizens really stopped 50 years ago?
No, I don't. And I don't think any of you do either. This is in Wisconsin.
Straight from the TikTok app. This is no editing, no nothing. My dog and I come out here every night for a walk, and I had this insane spotlight. What the hell is that? Nyla, get over here right now. Hey, Nyla. What the fuck is that? Nyla, come here. Jesus Christ! Now I got the chills.
I see it.
Fuck. Nyla, come here right now. Hey, Nyla, get over here right now.
Poor dog's like, what, Dad? What? Man, I'm just trying to sniff.
Seriously, you tell me what is all this fog? It looks like snow. It's how deep it is, or thick.
I'll tell you what it is, friends and family. It's the newest attack against American citizens. It's no joke. It's everywhere. This person got a picture of the fog.
It's Monday morning, and here we go again with the same fog.
This is Florida. Then that morning when the sun came out, look here, there's a dome. So, all right, that's it. That's all I've got. I proved it to you. First article, they tell you that you're crazy so that your friends and family won't listen to you when you try to warn them. Then I showed you that the military knows they can do this. Those are nanoparticles. They can move, they can detect, they can even grow bigger and smaller, and they're giving data to the military. Then I showed you proof that is happening across the United States and that it's happened in the past. It's up to you to do whatever you so choose with this information. I will link growing under a poison sky for you. Because, friends, all I can say is I tried to warn you.